Namaskar. In spiritual life, there are three important components, basic components, that assist you to develop in your course of spiritual practice. One is Dharma. Dharma is the way, the law, the essential harmony of all life. When there is Dharma in your life, you are in alignment with your innermost being, and you are directed towards blessedness. When Dharma is lacking, your life becomes out of balance. You become confused. Your direction is not clear. So the three great gifts in the spiritual path, the first is Dharma. Having a sense of the true way of spirit. The next is Samgha. When one has the company of spiritual people, like-minded people, then there is support for developing beliefs and practices that can assist you in your spiritual growth. But without this Samgha, when you are surrounded by people who do not support your spiritual development, then life becomes confusing. You are easily swept away into other interests and involvements. So Samgha is also an essential element of spiritual life. Finding Samgha where you can find support for your spiritual ideals. And finally, to have the guidance of a spiritual master, to have the guidance of one who understands and knows the path, so that you find your way. You find that you have one before you who can show you, who can teach you what are the steps. That guidance in the beginning stages of sadhana often comes from outside, from an external teacher or guru. And though you may continue to receive external guidance from scriptures and teachers, eventually you make the inner association with the guru. You meet the guru within. And when that happens, your guidance also comes from within you. You begin to have that wisdom within you, coming to you, showing you the way, guiding you. That allows you to follow the inner guru, the one who will guide you from within. And it may be a presence, a form you know, or it may be a form you don't know at all. But the inner guru guides in the depths of one's being, from the purity of your heart, where you touch the divine, that guidance comes to you, from the grace of the Infinite One. But until you have eyes to see and ears to hear, that guidance must come from without, and you must find those who can give you such guidance, so that you do not wander in darkness. Like any other skill, like any other ability, having assistance to gain knowledge and ability in the spiritual path, in the ways of wisdom, you must learn from one who knows. For in spiritual life, the ego self, the little self, cannot be your guide. For the little self, the ego self, knows only the beliefs, ideas, and conditioned experiences, the sanskaras that lie within, and does not know from that ego self how to dissolve the ego. For the true spiritual path involves surrender, letting go. And the nature of the ego self, of the small self, is to always want to acquire, to grasp and to hold, to get something more, to get something new, to have something. And so the ego self is always making an effort to improve you, to have a bigger and better you, to get various things that you need. This is the nature of the little self. So the little self doesn't know how to step out of its smallness. It's caught in it. Consciousness is caught in the little self, in the protection and development of the security, safety, and well-being of your individual self. It doesn't know how to step outside, how to know the great. It is only by the grace of that divinity that your awareness is freed from this bondage, so that you can know the infinite, truly know the infinite. That grace comes not by your achievements, not by your accomplishments. You can't say, "Oh Lord, you know, I did so many hours of meditation, I went on meditation retreat, I have a good resume, I deserve this." No, it doesn't work like that. Rather, when you come to a point, through whatever life circumstances, where you're willing to let go, where you're willing to say, "Thy will, not mine," where you're willing to surrender and to listen, then the grace of the divine, that endless shower of grace, can begin to be perceived. And Lord comes to you both from external forms and internal guidance. And the path begins to open before you. The way becomes clear. With the support of the true path, with Dharma, with the companionship of like-minded people to support you in the Samgha, and with the guidance from the divine, whether it be in internal form or in external form, that grace will guide you. And with these three supports to your spiritual life, you have the basis for development. Then it is up to you to have the sincerity of heart and soul. When your longing becomes sincere, when your longing becomes deep, and you want that divine presence very strongly, when you cry for God, when you weep, when you yearn deeply, then that which you need, you are drawn towards. But when your mind is distracted, you want to do Super Bowl Sunday and go out and do this and that, and there's so many distractions in life, and you're so busy with family and work and activities that your heart doesn't have time for spiritual life. Then it becomes difficult. Not that you should not enjoy this world, but the yogi, the true yogi, the tantric yogi, being a bhogi, an enjoyer of life, will also be a yogi, one who sees the God everywhere, and thus, even in the simple pleasures of life, remembers the divine and surrenders. For that divinity is not in a high holy seat in some high heaven or distant place on some mountaintop across the world. That divinity is here now, is with you now. That divinity is omnipresent and omnipotent. In the rarest and greatest energy, in the pure light, in the unconditional love, it abides. In the freedom of consciousness and awareness to melt into that unconditional love and that bright light, that divinity abides. But that divine one also abides in this world of form, in every person you meet, in every living being, in every atom, every molecule, in the microcosm, and in the stars in the heavens, and the planets, and the multitude of beings in this universe. That divinity abides. In your daily life, should you be in remembrance, your consciousness will be with the divine. For there is nothing outside of that one. And whether you are watching television, eating food, drinking, talking with friends, if your heart and mind are in the hue of love for the infinite, then you will see that that Divine One is there in everything and everyone. There is nothing outside of that divinity. But when the mind slumbers in forgetfulness and in conditioned thinking, you forget. And then all of the activities of life simply become distractions. And you become lost in the world until such a time as you begin to realize the fragile nature of this life. You begin to find yourself restless and unhappy with the ordinary and unfulfilling solutions that leave life a bit empty. And you begin to search, deeply search, truly search. Search your soul. Then, from that pain, from that love, the beloved of your heart begins to reveal himself, herself, begins to be present in your life. Never become discouraged. Let the infinite bring the blessings of love, of truth into your life.